Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news as the NFL's 2025 season approaches. Excitement is building among Falcons fans, and there's a lot to talk about. We're just a few weeks away from the start of training camp, and the buzz is that the Atlanta Falcons are already making some strategic moves and considering some bold decisions that could reshape their future. With the league always full of surprises, what's happening right now could be a game changer, especially in the context of the NFC South and the broader landscape of the NFL. So, let's dive deep into what's swirling around the Falcons, what it means for their upcoming season, and what fans like you should keep an eye on as we get closer to kickoff. First off, it's important to acknowledge that the Falcons are one of the most intriguing teams in the NFC South this year. After a season full of ups and downs, the team is looking to establish a clear identity, especially at the quarterback position. Now, there's a lot of chatter around the possibility of moving on from Kirk Cousins, a veteran quarterback who, despite his experience and talent, might not be part of Atlanta's long-term plans. This isn't just speculation. It's a discussion that's gaining traction thanks to some interesting analyses from NFL insiders. For instance, Bleacher Report's Matt Holder recently suggested that the Falcons should consider trading Cousins before the season kicks off. Why would they do that? Well, for starters, moving on from Cousins would give the Falcons an opportunity to build around a younger, potentially more dynamic quarterback, and that's where Michael Penix Jr. comes into focus. Penix, a talented young signal caller, has been making waves in recent college seasons, and the Falcons clearly see him as a player with the potential to lead their offense in the future. The idea is that by making a clean break now, the Falcons can develop their identity, establish a more affordable and flexible cap situation, and avoid the financial burden that comes with Cousins' hefty contract. Speaking of that contract, Kirk Cousins is still under a 4-year, $180 million deal, which includes a guaranteed $100 million. Now, that's a significant commitment, and it comes with a hefty annual cap hit that increases each year. This year, the cap hit for Cousins is around $40 million, and it could go as high as $57 million in the later years of the deal. For a team like the Falcons, who are still trying to rebuild and find their core identity, carrying that kind of financial weight isn't ideal. It limits flexibility, especially when you're trying to add pieces to your roster through free agency or the draft. But here's the problem: trading Cousins isn't exactly a walk in the park. We're already approaching August, and the NFL's quarterback market has mostly dried up. Most teams that needed a veteran quarterback have already made their moves or settled into their positions. The Steelers, for example, were once considered potential suitors, but they recently signed Aaron Rodgers, which makes their interest in Cousins unlikely now. Meanwhile, other teams in dire need of a quarterback, like the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Browns, have either invested heavily in their current options or just spent draft capital on young quarterbacks like Tyler Show. The reality is, there are very few teams with a pressing need for a veteran quarterback like Cousins, and even fewer that would be willing to take on his contract, especially given his age and injury history. The Saints, for instance, just drafted Tyler Show in the second round, indicating they're looking to develop their future at the position rather than making a quick trade for a veteran. So, unless an unforeseen injury or situation arises, Cousins could very well spend the entire 2025 season in Atlanta. Now, you might wonder, what does all this mean for the Falcons' immediate plans? Well, for starters, it suggests that the team is probably going to ride with Cousins for now, at least until a more realistic trading opportunity presents itself. But realistically, the chances of unloading him before the season are slim. The obstacles are significant: his contract, his age, and the limited market for quarterbacks in this window. It's not just about finding a team interested, it's about finding a team willing to absorb that cap hit, which is no small feat. So, what's the big picture here? The Falcons are in a kind of holding pattern, waiting to see if another team suffers an injury or a setback that creates a sudden need for a veteran quarterback. If that happens, they might act quickly, get what they can for Cousins, and move forward with their plans. But right now, the most pragmatic assumption is that Kirk Cousins will be Atlanta's quarterback throughout the 2025 season. That's a reality that some fans might find disappointing, especially those eager for a younger, more dynamic signal caller to take the reins long-term. But it's also an opportunity for the Falcons to evaluate Michael Penix Jr., who's been impressive in college and has the potential to develop into a franchise quarterback. The team's coaching staff and front office are surely watching him closely, and the upcoming training camp will be crucial in determining how the quarterback competition will unfold. Penix's arm talent, decision-making, and leadership qualities could be what the Falcons need to finally solidify that position for the future. Meanwhile, the Falcons' roster as a whole is shaping up to be competitive. They've made some key additions and are looking to build a well-rounded team that can contend in the NFC South, which remains one of the most competitive divisions in the league. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still a threat with their veteran core, the New Orleans Saints are trying to find consistency, and the Carolina Panthers are rebuilding with new leadership and young talent. In this landscape, the Falcons want to be strategic, not just in their quarterback situation, but across the entire roster. And let's not forget the importance of the NFC South in the broader NFL picture. This division has always been known for unpredictability and fierce rivalry. The Falcons, with their new coaching staff and young core, are aiming to reestablish themselves as a dominant force. The quarterback position is central to that goal, and whether it's Kirk Cousins or Michael Penix Jr., the decision made in the coming weeks will be critical. Now, if you're a Falcons fan, I know you're eager to see how this unfolds. Will they stick with Cousins, or will they pull the trigger on a trade? If they do trade him, what kind of return will they get? And how will Penix perform once he gets more reps in training camp? These are questions that will be answered in the weeks ahead, and every move will have ripple effects across the division and the league. One thing is for sure, the Falcons are in an interesting spot. They're balancing their immediate needs with long-term planning, trying to make the right moves that will set them up for sustained success. The quarterback debate, the cap management, the draft strategy, all of these elements are interconnected and will define their season and beyond. Fans should stay tuned because this story is far from over. Team's front office is undoubtedly working behind the scenes, weighing options, and preparing to make decisions that could elevate Atlanta back into the playoff picture. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the team should hold on to Cousins for the season or try to find a trade? Are you excited about Michael Penix Jr. and his potential? Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons' future. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Thanks for being part of this journey with us, and let's keep supporting this incredible team every step of the way.